I pull at every thread trying to solve the puzzles in his head, so he's at a distance, which makes it perfect for third person point of view. Oh man, that's what I'm talking about. Hey, it's Megan. Welcome back to On Writing. If you're new here, I'm a professional writer and writing coach, and today I'm doing part 2 of Learning from Lyrics Taylor Swift Winter Edition. One thing I wanted to let you know is that I'm now offering editing services for smaller chunks of fiction. So if you're working on a short story or a novel and you're like, man, I just can't afford to have my whole novel edited, or I just want to get a little bit of feedback so that I know if I'm on the right track, you can get fast feedback from me on excerpts up to 10,000 words. So if you're looking for developmental edits or even copy edits, I'll provide that for you at a lower rate than my full-length traditional editing. So just to let you know, you can find that on my website. The first song is from her Red album, and the second song is from Midnights. So let's see what we can learn from them.
He says he doesn't believe anything much he hears these days.
So the first thing that sticks out to me from this song is that she uses a point of view that she doesn't usually use, or I really shouldn't say that because it's not like I've listened to all of her songs, but in a lot of her songs, especially the ones we've looked at together so far, she starts off with second person point of view, so you. She directly addresses her reader. Here, however, she's using third person, so he says, she says. So that's interesting.
Wishing it was how it used to be. He spends most of his flights getting pulled down by gravity.
It's a much more narrative style. It's very much telling a story right from the start. And considering that Red was sort of a hybrid between pop music and country music, it makes sense that this song might be a little bit more storytelling, which is more common in country music. But honestly, it's pretty common in all of Taylor Swift's songs though. So let's talk about what she's saying so far. We have some great repetition here. He says, he spends, he spends. And then we also have midline rhymes. He spends most of his nights. He spends most of his flights. The line I like so far is he spends most of his flights getting pulled down by gravity. And we get a lot of movement in these opening lines as well. Watching it go away, something's leaving, wishing it was how it used to be, in the past, flights getting pulled down by gravity. So I just feel like there's a lot of movement happening so far. Okay, let's see what happens next.
Just checking up on him. He's up 3 a.m. pacing.
So the narrator of this song introduces themselves now. I call just checking up on him, but it's still third person, which I think is interesting. So when you're thinking of point of view for your story, I always like to think of it as how close do you want your readers to be to your characters. First person point of view, they're going to be really close. So they are right in your character's mind. They don't get to see everyone else and what they're thinking and feeling, but they get to see everything that's going on in your character's mind. I mean, everything that you want to show them at least. So they're really close. The further away you get, you start getting into third person, and you can either be third person close, which is focusing in on one character, and then moving back into third person omniscient narrator, for instance, where they know about every character, or even third person objective, where you're not really getting thoughts and feelings in the internal world of any characters. So you can see that there's like distance between character and reader for every point of view. If that didn't make sense, I explained that in a video on point of view that you can watch, but I just pointed out because I think it's interesting that she's using him and not you. So she's creating that distance for us, and I'm curious to know why, if that was intentional. But so far, this character seems like a pretty good friend. She's calling this guy to check up on him. He's up at 3 a.m. pacing. She knows all about that and what that feels like.
It's not just a phase I'm in. My voice comes out begging.
She's switching subjects here. He says this, I say this, my voice comes out begging. All this time I didn't know you were breaking down. I'd fall to pieces on the floor if you weren't around. She's really pleading with him to push through because he is clearly struggling most of his flights. So most of the times when he should be on a high, he's being pulled down by gravity, like a force that he can't fight against.
I didn't know you were breaking down.
So it's not just a phase. This is something really hard that he's struggling with. And I'm guessing that he's at the point where he's like, I might just pull the plug. Because she says, forever winter if you go.
Forever winter if you go.
That's very sad. The subject matter doesn't seem to match the beat of the song, but one of you called it a tragic bop in the comments, and I thought that was so funny. Yeah, I'm seeing that now. So we get some more movement here as well, breaking down, fall to pieces, and then I like the play on, if you stay, I'll be like the summer sun, and I'll be your summer sun. but if you go, it'll be forever winter. So it's like that very clear imagery of what you get in summer versus winter there. Okay.
He seems fine most of the time, forcing smiles and never minds.
He seems fine most of the time, forcing smiles and never minds.
His laugh is a symphony. When the lights go out, it's hard to breathe.
His laugh is a symphony. When the lights go out, it's hard to breathe. The way that it's written here, you get long lines kind of at the beginning of each stanza, and then you get a lot of short lines kind of in the chorus, I guess, but it's all clumped together as one, which I think is interesting. Anyway, maybe that's just how it is here, but I like those long lines. It lends itself well to a narrative poem. If you want to see another example of an amazing narrative poem, check out my video on the cremation of Sam McGee. But here, he seems fine most of the time, forcing smiles and never minds. So that has a nice rhythm to it. Time and minds goes together well, and basically she's painting a picture for us of what it's like for him, even though she doesn't exactly know.
I pull at every thread, trying to solve the puzzles in his head.
And actually, now that I say that, I'm thinking that's why she's using third person here, or at least that's how we could interpret the third person being used, is that she doesn't exactly know what it's like in his head, so she can't speak directly to that by saying, you feel this, you think that, because she doesn't know. And she says it here, I pull at every thread trying to solve the puzzles in his head, so he's at a distance, which makes it perfect for third person point of view. Oh, so good. Oh man, that's what I'm talking about. Okay.
My life's scared to death, he'll decide to leave instead.
So live my life scared to death. She's so good at putting opposing phrases together and opposing ideas together in really clever, simple, small lines, like live my life scared to death. So bringing life and death there together. He'll decide to leave instead. This is like his final hour, it seems like, and she's trying to make sure that he is okay, which is very, very sad. Okay. No, sorry. Gotta point out the metaphor, his laugh is a symphony. I feel like sometimes similes and metaphors in songs are kind of just lost because, you know, you sing it so fast and whatever. But every time you see a simile or a metaphor, just take some time to think about what it's actually saying. His laugh is a symphony. A symphony is an incredible collection of all these different instruments that come together and they're all playing different parts, but together they just create this beautiful piece of music. I mean, that's really something to say about somebody's laugh. Symphony might be a little bit of an overused metaphor, but it's still a really beautiful thing to say about somebody. All right.
Not even listening, my voice comes out screaming.
Okay, wow, this escalated quickly. Oh my gosh. Why is it so upbeat? It's like, oh, you know what that makes me think of though, is the line, he seems fine most of the time, forcing smiles and never minds. Just like this song, he's acting upbeat and like everything's okay, but actually under all of that is this awful struggle he's going through. So I feel like the music being upbeat, but the lyrics being so sad kind of represents that too. Come on now. That's so good. So now it's 5 a.m. It was 3 a.m. He's long gone, not even listening. He's wasted. Things are kind of deteriorating. And instead of her voice coming out begging, now it's coming out screaming. So she's really panicked now. If this were a short story, we might say that this seems like the climax of the story.
In your apartment, I take the bomb in your head and disarm it.
All right, if I were standing there in your apartment, I'd take that bomb in your head and disarm it.
I say I love you even at your darkest, and please don't go.
So the structure of this is pretty repetitive. It's basically like, he's in this place, this is what I did, I called and I felt like this, and this is what I would tell you. I would tell you to please stay, and I'll be here for you, basically. I love you. So the line I like from this stanza the most is, I'll take that bomb in your head and disarm it. So it's just an interesting analogy to use. It gives that moment the tension and urgency that it needs. So I think that's well written. All right, she repeats the chorus again and then she ends it.
I say believe in one thing, I won't go away.
At the end, she repeats the first line that says he doesn't believe anything much he hears these days, but then she switches the second line and says, I say believe in one thing, I won't go away. So she's really rooting for this person and trying to save them, basically. That repetition of the last line and the first line reminds me of a few of her songs where she does that. One that comes to mind for me is Our Song. Yeah, I really like it. Okay, well that was Forever Winter. Very sad, heartbreaking. I really like how the content is reflected in the song itself, kind of reflects him being in a tough place, but he pretends he's okay. Love that. And then I also like the choice to use third person point of view because it does keep us separate from the character who's our focus in this, basically. So it just fits perfectly that it's third person point of view. So I really think that's very cool. Thanks for suggesting it. Okay, next we'll look at Snow on the Beach. This features Lana Del Rey.
One night, a few moons ago,
So different than Forever Winter.
it might just have been you passing by unbeknownst to me.
This is still a narrative style. She's basically saying once upon a time. One night a few moons ago, so what does that mean? A few nights ago, I saw flecks of what could have been lights, but it might just have been you passing by unbeknownst to me. So I really like that. It's very cute. It's very poetic. Just comparing this person to brightness, to light, to something that would catch her eye. So I would say this is more vague, more poetic in nature than the last song.
Life is emotionally abusive.
Life is emotionally abusive.
Then time can stop me quite like you did.
Time can't stop me quite like you did. My flight was awful. Thanks for asking. I'm unglued thanks to you. So that's interesting. Okay, so what I'm getting from this is that she's feeling unglued, which means she's coming apart because of this person. So I'm really hoping that it's not because this is another unreciprocated relationship where she has more feelings for them than they do for her. But there's something about this that's emotionally abusive, so that could be hyperbole, where she's saying, you know, it's like ups and downs, highs and lows. I'm curious to see if we learn more about this dynamic.
And it's like snow at the beach, weird but fucking beautiful.
So there's a wonderful simile for us to think about. It's like snow at the beach. The only thing I would say about this is that she then goes ahead and explains what the simile means. Usually I would think if you're choosing a simile or a metaphor, it should be able to stand on its own, and then the reader or the listener can interpret it the way they want based on how they understand the two terms being compared, if that makes sense. So we should be able to hear snow at the beach and infer what she's talking about without her having to define it. But here she does, and that's fine because in a song, people don't have time to just sit and ponder it necessarily, so it's fine that she does that here. I'm just saying it's something to notice. Snow at the beach, weird, but it was beautiful. Honestly, if you're Canadian, you probably have seen snow at the beach sometimes. What she doesn't tell us is it's like snow at the beach. What does that refer to? It's as in her being unglued, the feeling that she's coming to pieces is like snow at the beach, or is this relationship she's talking about like snow at the beach?
Flying in a dream, stars by the pocketful.
That's kind of fun. I picture her dreaming and she's in the heavens, soaring through the sky, and she's filling her pocket with stars. And that connects to flecks of what could have been lights as well, I think. You wanting me tonight feels impossible.
But it's coming down, no sound, it's all around, like snow on the beach.
Snow also I feel like ties in with stars and flecks of light because snowflakes are white, and I don't know, when they fall it kind of looks the same as stars in the sky. But I feel like those images go well together. It's just this weird but beautiful experience. Interesting.
This scene feels like what I once saw on a screen.
This scene feels like what I once saw on a screen. So that's nice. Scene and screen go well together.
I searched Aurora Borealis green.
I searched Aurora Borealis green, so just referring to the northern lights.
I've never seen someone lit from within.
I've never seen someone lit from within. Blurring out my periphery. So let's talk about that. Someone lit from within, again, that ties back to stars by the pocketful, but especially flecks of what could have been light. So this person has like a glow to them, and it blurs out her periphery. She can't see anything else but what's right in front of her. Her periphery is blurred. So she's like zoning in. I love the rhythm of this scene. Feels like what I once saw on a screen. I searched Aurora Borealis green. It's really pretty.
It's like I want a contest and to hide that would be so dishonest.
This is a good example of a simile that she does not explain. So she just leaves it there for us and we infer what she means by it. My smile is like I won a contest. I know to me that brings up a very specific kind of smile that would spread across someone's face. So that's perfect. And to hide that would be so dishonest. It's fine to fake it till you make it, till you do, till it's true. So this scene that's unfolding in her life is one that she can't help but smile at. She feels perhaps really lucky or fortunate. And if she tried to hide that smile, it would be really dishonest. But it's also, she says, it's okay to fake it till you make it, till it's true. So maybe there's a sense there that she doesn't fully trust the excitement that she's feeling, but I don't know.
Flying in a dream, stars by the pocketful.
So she repeats the chorus there. It's like this unexpected thing that you weren't expecting. It's like this unexpected thing that is suddenly in your life, and it's a little weird, but it's beautiful, and you just kind of want to take it all in. It's coming down, it's all around like snow on the beach.
Be afraid to jinx it. I don't even dare to wish it.
Again, we get the repeated theme of, I can't really believe this is happening, just like you would feel if you saw snow on the beach, unless you live in Canada.
Your eyes are flying saucers from another planet. Now I'm all for you like Janet.
Your eyes are flying saucers from another planet. This song is fun because it has a lot of like ethereal, fantastical imagery in it. Flying in a dream, stars by the pocketful, and then your eyes are flying saucers, which is a nice metaphor, by the way. And then snow on the beach, it kind of makes me think of like when pigs fly, like when this just impossible thing is happening, but it feels very connected to the impossible and like what else is out there. I don't know if that makes sense. Now I'm all for you like Janet, a Janet Jackson reference. We didn't see that coming. That's so funny.
Can this be a real thing, can it?
Can this be a real thing? Can it? So now it's like I'm trying to ground this in reality. I'm flying in the dream, stars in my pockets, your flying saucer eyes. And so is this real? Because it's weird and unexpected and a little bit out there, but it's beautiful. So can it be real? Are we falling like snow at the beach? I like the play on words there of are we falling like falling in love, but also falling like snow at the beach. Okay, then she just repeats that to the end. So I like this song. It's really fun and kind of like out there. I don't know. It has a completely different feel than Forever Winter, but I like the threads she ties through of like otherworldly elements, all of those things that feel a little bit alien. I like that ties through the entire song in different ways. We talked a little bit about similes. Personally, my preference is that you don't explain them right after, but here we have an instance where she does both, explaining it and not explaining it. Just something to think about as you write as well. Okay, so that was part 2 of our Taylor Swift lyrical review winter edition. Thanks so much for watching. It was so fun to talk about these songs with you today, and I will see you next time. Happy writing.